Single again, back on the prowl. I thought it was perfect. Greetings, Capricorn, all placements. Hey, I feel you guys. I'm a Capricorn rising, and same story here, okay? Some of you guys could have just had a whirlwind of a romance, but these eclipses, these retrogrades, and this full moon are not letting it slip. They're not letting anything slide by. So someone could be like, I'm not cheating. They're at a distance, and we're just sending, sexy pics, and we're just snatch chatting, and we're just WhatsApping, and, they're just boosting my ego, all that, like, that's emotional cheating, okay, Capricorn? So there's definite cheating here. It's okay, I caught mine. I'm glad that I wiped my hands clean of that crap because I don't deal with that. No, and you shouldn't either. Like, I get it. Some people are okay with being in open situations. Then just say it, okay? Just say that. Just say, hey, I'm not much for commitment. I like being open. Or I like being mostly committed, but I'm so insecure that I need more attention and to send pictures with other people. So I'm not going to be totally monogamous. And I know people that are okay with that. I have friends that they're okay with like kissing or whatever, but they're not okay with private parts involved with other people. There's all different things. But Capricorn, this is a messy situation. A lot of my Capricorns, you are in a messy situation. I was hearing single again. I was also hearing dirty little secret. So again, someone has a dirty little secret. In the last week's reading, and Aquarius, Leo, and some of the other signs, clap came through and antibiotics came through. So get yourself checked and situated, because for those who, they weren't just cheating on the phone with someone who lives in my situation, Fort Worth, but I don't know. Anywho, it's okay. She'll probably watch this because I know she checks on my stuff, but anywho, for those who it wasn't just emotional cheating, it was physical, there could be stuff going on, and you could be like, you could start having symptoms. So I would just go to the doctor before that stuff gets out of hand, because that is through here. Now, for some of my other Capricorns, this really comes from when you aren't standing fully in your power, in your truth. You aren't going to attract people who are in perfect alignment with you. You're going to attract people who are needing you to look at the parts of yourself that you don't want to look at so that you can get to the next evolution, the next stage. And that's also why it's like, I'm not upset, I'm not going to shed a tear about it, because I definitely have become more of myself, more of the woman that I'm meant to be. And, I started posting my dancing again, and I wasn't doing that for a while because of all the just chatter and gossip that goes with that. But the one thing that I'm grateful, that connection, that very short-lived connection that I just had was the fact that I actually was like, you know what, screw it. I do love dancing. This is what makes my soul, my heart, like, blossom so happy, and it doesn't really matter what anyone wants to say about it, or if people unfollow me or gossip and say whatever they want to say, because whatever, I know me, I know what my intention is, I know that that's what fuels my soul. So for a lot of my Capricorns, a connection could have been brought into your life purely for the form of you getting on your path, for you to prioritize doing the things that fill your heart with joy. I think of like one of my very first serious breakups. I've always really liked fitness stuff, but I didn't become a fitness instructor. I didn't start mastering the physical vessel and powerlifting and, doing pole classes or learning how to tightrope until I dated this guy. And he was a personal trainer, of course, and he cheated on me with, of course, his client in the family restroom at the gym, of all places. Kind of perfect though, because then they dated and then she cheated on him. I mean, that's kind of what always happens, right? So that's my thing right now. I'm like, it's okay, because that quick little blip of a thing that I just had was empowering for me, and I know that the next person he talks to is just gonna like do that to him, because that's literally what happens. So karma comes around like that. What goes around comes back around. But my point with that was that first connection, that first heartbreak, is what got me into mastering my body. So every single separation, I only have gratitude for. I'm like, it's not sad. It's that chapter ended. They came into my life. They served the purpose that God put them into my life to serve. And we have completed that. And they are not wanting to continue with the soul growth or the integrity that I operate at. So it's just not a match anymore, because they're not operating at my level of integrity. So it's just simple. It's just simple. It's just simple. So Capricorn, some of you guys need to realize something is more simple than you're making it, especially because Capricorn is not an energy that is slice and dice like my Aries, Mercury, and some of my other Aries placements. Like, my Aries placements allow me to be head over heels in love with someone, and literally in a snap of a finger, when I know I'm been completely disrespected and betrayed, it's not sad, it's just complete, like, hands are wiped clean, it's dead, done, over with, it's dead and gone. It's just simple. And for Capricorn placements, it's not really like that. I know a lot of Capricorns will stay in things way beyond the expiration date. I know a lot of Capricorns who have the what they don't know won't hurt them, and then they carry the burden of what they've been sneaking around doing. Capricorn, you need to cut that crap out. And that's also why you're attracting connections of people who sneak around. And see, I'm talking to myself here, because that energy of me not living in my fullest truth and being my fullest self and feeling like I have to kind of hide certain parts of my personality because people will judge me or whatever. So yeah, it's like there's something about hiding parts of yourself, and you aren't going to get to that next level in depth of connection until you really blossom that and meet who your people are. Like, you're not really going to meet your people in your community, Capricorn, until you really blossom and bloom. So yeah, something is very short-lived. Very short-lived. But the intimacy could have been amazing. We're all adults here, right? Yeah, Knight of Wands with the High Priestess, though, is also quite literally secrets when it comes to intimacy. Someone could be sword fighting. Someone could go both ways. Someone here could be bi, but they act like they aren't, especially since the Three of Swords came out as I was saying that. That's the other thing. When you could be like, who is she? And they're like, I'm not, but it's because it's a he. Which, I have a lot of gay friends. I have bi friends. I lived in a house with only bi and gay. Like, I'm not against that community. What I'm against is people acting straight so they can have a straight woman, but behind the scenes, the dude likes sword fighting. I have a problem with that because that lacks integrity. And you're, yeah, opening a whole different can of worms of transmitted things. So, Capricorn, be cautious. Also, like, there's definitely, I mean, I know two of my exes that were Capricorns, their birthdays were like a day apart of one another. I know both of them were down low. And it's funny because my very serious one, who would never admit to it and who would like punch holes in the wall and scream at me that I was crazy for blaming him for that, his high school ex pegs him. And she asked me if I had used her, like, their toys on him. And I was like, are you kidding me? Not that I'm knocking people who are into that, but I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I am very monogamous. I'm very straight. I am not going to do that to a dude. And that is perfectly fine if he has that kink, if he has that, you know, if he wants that. Well, then go be with someone who will do that. So he was two-timing both of us because she would do that to him and I wouldn't do that. So he had like a, you know, neat relationship with me in public, and then she was doing that to him behind the scenes. And he was so mad because I would call him out and he would lie to me. But then she actually DM'd me on Instagram, and, you know, I love that I'm just spilling all the tea here because I know all these guys are gonna watch this and be so pissed about it. Yay! Capricorn, some of you guys, you need to call these mofos out. Otherwise, and you need to also be cautious if someone wants to call you out. See, that's the thing. When you are so unapologetically honest, people can't call you out because you already say, like, there's nothing to hide. So, and that's just how I like to live my life. It makes me sleep easy. Like, I don't have issues falling asleep, and that's why, because I have a clear conscience. Two of Wands with Justice. Capricorn, if you do walk away from something, you will get justice. You also could need to walk away. I rest my case. For a lot of my Capricorns, you already know you've got something kind of funny going on. You know someone has something funny going on. It's dead, done, over with. It's literally the biggest betrayal. Secrets. Secrets are no fun. Secrets can hurt. Or in this case, I mean, it doesn't really hurt me because, again, it served the purpose that it meant to in my life. But Capricorn, someone here, yeah, is getting left out in the cold. I'm so cold. I'm so cold. Because they were exposed. What happens in the dark always comes to the light, darling. Someone is definitely playing both sides of the field. Someone loves, like, your healing energy, or someone's using someone for their healing energy, and then they have someone at a distance. Literally, 6 of Swords, 2 of Wands. The betrayal, 3 of Swords with the 10 of Swords here. The betrayal is someone at a distance. This is also why someone can try and justify, because they're like, well, you know, It's not physical, it's just pictures and messages and emotional. And if it was physical, it'd only be a couple times a year. This can also be if someone like travels for work, they could like, you know, do hanky-panky things just when they travel, and so they